Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley, and how about those temperatures today? We were managed to hit 60 in several of our locations around the tri-state, and we had a lot of sun to go with it as well. So if you're a fan of the warmth, we got some more in store for you as well. If you're not a fan of the warmth, well, there is a cool down in sight. It's going to take a little bit of showers and thunderstorms to get there. So we're going to break down everything you need to know about your weekend weather here on 19 at 6. And if you have any questions and you're tuning in on our Facebook live stream, I'd be happy to answer them. Again, just leave them there in the comments. So how about today? We talked a lot about how today was going to be kind of that pivot day, in which not only are we springing forward, but those temperatures are also going with it as well. Right now at 6 o'clock this evening, there's the 60 I was talking about. Florence, of course, usually you're hitting the warmer temperatures, and normally the warmer air is seen south of the state line, but even Milford, 58, Mason also at 58. The cooler spots, of course, the more north you are. In the mid-50s there in Connorsville, very spring-like, right? I know some people aren't exactly a fan of the temperatures like this, especially since it is still March 9th, but keep in mind that we're kind of riding with the roller coaster in the extended forecast. I apologize if my necklace is giving us a little bit of a feedback, so if you hear it, I do apologize. We sprung forward. We've already sprung forward. We're seeing it in the daylight today. So remember that daylight saving time started earlier, and so therefore, the sunset is just a bit later by that hour. So 7:40 is going to be tonight's sunset. Going to be beautiful, outstanding. If I wasn't locked up in this building, I would have an ice cream and I would be out by a body of water watching it because it's going to be beautiful. And 7 o'clock sunsets or later sunsets, so 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock sunsets, well, we're going to be able to enjoy those until the middle part of October, just naturally seeing more and more daylight as we approach the summer season. All is quiet on our satellite and radar, maybe a few passing clouds. Overall, nothing to first alert you to. Not tracking any rain, not tracking any snow, that's for sure, at least for the next 5 to 6 days, in which satellite and radar are going to get pretty active and get active pretty quickly. Clear skies here and through much of the Buckeye State is keeping us and keeping the rain away from us. So that's kind of the good news. But if you are traveling south, I know spring breakers, sorry about your luck. Yeah, a little bit more of an active pattern happening there towards the southern United States. Here, not so much. Maybe spring has sprung here, but Florida is, of course, slow to catch up. Tomorrow, sunshine, it reflects in the temperatures, of course, mid-60s, 14 degrees above normal, which is normal officially is in the 50s now, and mostly sunny skies. That sunny icon really getting her workout in, and this isn't the only day that we're really seeing it. So warming trend is really what's going to be taking over the weather story for the next several days, as if it hasn't already done so. Because we did hit the low 60s in parts of our viewing area today, but tomorrow all of us are going to be in the 60s, mid-60s that is, with a lot of sun. Tuesday, 70 degrees. I'm noticing a little bit of a breeze there on Tuesday as well. Something to keep in mind if you're doing some yard work is that you might have wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, temperatures, they're trickling right back up. It's now looking like Friday is going to be the warmest day at about 76 degrees here in Cincinnati, higher temperatures seen south of the state line. Regardless of whether or not we're getting extra breezes there on Tuesday, that's a little bit of a front trying to come in. We're not seeing any rain with it, and we're hardly seeing any clouds with it. Just something to keep in mind. It's stunting those temperatures by just a little bit there. Of course, it's not really seen in the bar graph itself. I do want to show you what that looks like here on our first alert forecast model, because you'll see what I'm saying when I say it's a clipper system, a weak front here in the tri-state area. Again, most of that's rain well south of the area. High pressure here is really got a hold on us. This is Tuesday afternoon. Notice that there's some clouds north of our area, northwest and northeast. That's that Clipper system, so very weak, not expected to be bringing any rain here locally, just a bit of those breezy conditions. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. And if you've been tuning in with us over the last several days, we've been watching Thursday as a small little chance of rain. And while rain does get closer to Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, the heavy stuff still well south of it. And honestly, we've dropped the chance for rain to about a 10%. And that's really just to say, hey, it's a little too close to say it's absolutely not going to happen. So I wouldn't bet on the rain happening, especially if you're living in Ohio or the very northern part of our viewing area. So we get into Friday. Friday is going to be the warmest day this week, and that's just because we're not seeing any big fronts that'll cool down those temperatures. This is the little weak one there on Tuesday that will stunt the temperature just briefly. So Friday is looking outstanding, almost summer-like. Some of us, I really can't argue that against knocking on the door of 80 degrees that day, unless things were to change, of course. But of course, every temperature trend does come to an end, and it does so in a stormy fashion. So this is what we're looking at. This is Saturday morning. So the timing of this, we're starting to get a better idea. I mean, it's Sunday. This is for Saturday. It's looking like a 1-2 punch sort of deal. That warm front lifts, and then that cold front passes through. And usually with the cold front passing through, that's when we see the potential for thunderstorms, whereas the warm front is just kind of those rain showers, and that's what we're seeing with this setup too. And I don't expect anything too strong there for the early hours on Saturday. We get you there into the midday. There's good potential with this setup, and like I mentioned, it's that 1-2 punch setup, that there's actually some dry time there on Saturday. This will allow temperatures to warm back up to the 70s, which in the case of thunderstorms possible later on this evening, you'll see it, the yellow creeping up towards the Buckeye State there towards the late evening. We don't want to have that heat available. We don't want to have as much sun or dry time, just because if we do get the sun, if we do get the heat associated with the sun, we could be looking at some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms later on Saturday evening. As of right now, not seeing anything that's screaming tornadoes or really big hail. It's looking more like a wind maker. We're seeing wind gusts up to about 50 miles per hour. I mean, we've been watching this pretty carefully, right? And so we will continue to monitor it pretty carefully. Again, just something that's on our radar. And generally speaking, the greater threat for anything strong or severe is far south of the area entirely, down towards Tennessee and northern parts of Georgia and Alabama as well. So just something to keep in mind. Then we sail into St. Patrick's Day festivities. I will say Sunday, while it does look cooler, maybe a bit cloudy, maybe it starts a bit dreary, I'm seeing more sun towards the second half of the day. And yeah, this does mean that your St. Patrick's Day, you're not going to be greeted by the 70s. We're forecasting a high right now of about the mid to low 50s, so still normal for this time of year, but thankfully most of the rain will be out of the area by St. Patrick's Day. We'll go ahead and check some comments real quick to see how people are doing. Hi Erin, how are you doing on a Sunday night? I'm going down to Des Moines, Iowa for a state basketball tournament tomorrow. That's really exciting. Weather should be fantastic out that direction. Maybe a bit warmer here. So Seth, thanks for asking. I'm doing really well, and I hope that you are too. John saying no more snow. We've heard of crazier things than snow in March, so can't rule it out. Okay, Andrew saying, good evening, Erin. I'll say the Cincinnati skyline looks great at sunset. And I completely agree with you. It's what really draws me back to the Queen City and has always drawn me back to the Queen City is that skyline. It's just beautiful. And the restaurant, too. Love Skyline Chili. And so it's Friday and eat ice cream extra fast kind of day. I don't think so. I think ice cream is able to withstand the mid-70s pretty decently. It's not like summertime where if you don't eat the ice cream super fast, it'll be dripping on your hand and getting all sticky. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. It's just going to be the warmest day relative to the days leading up to it. mid to upper 70s is what we're forecasting. Thanks all for tuning in this afternoon. I do appreciate it, especially since the weather's quiet, at least for the immediate future. But the long-term forecast, of course, does bear watching, just for that weather maker there on Saturday. So let's go ahead, waste no time, get right into that 7-day forecast, which starts off, well, we've already sprung forward. So the temperatures have already sprung forward as well. So here it is, mid-60s there on Monday. Warmer there on Tuesday. Keep in mind, this doesn't show you, but we're still saying Tuesday is going to be rather breezy with wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. That's that clipper, that really weak front coming on through and stunting the temperatures just a bit. And that's why Wednesday is a 71, while the end of the week is in the mid-70s. Still warm. You're not going to notice it, but here in the meteorology world, we're like 1 degree is everything. So yeah, not too bad. The sunny icons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days before we get our next chance for rain, which is Saturday. It starts bright and early. I'm seeing that 1-2 punch setup, meaning it comes in 2 rounds, one in the morning, one that's looking like it's coming in the afternoon. The one in the afternoon does bear watching because temperatures that afternoon could very well hit the low 70s. And of course, just with spring thunderstorms in this time of year, we're starting to enter severe weather season here in the tri-state. So we'll be watching, of course. Our greatest concern right now, 6 days out, huge star on that one, is going to be the winds. It's also going to be breezy Friday and Sunday. So it's not just Saturday that you'll notice the winds. It's just that Saturday's winds will be the highest, the most intense, if you will. Friday, 30 mile per hour wind gust. Saturday, 45 mile per hour wind gust, maybe 50. And then Sunday, 35 to 40 is what I'm seeing in the models today. How about the 14-day outlook? So I'm always skeptical about showing the 14-day outlook because I don't want people to get too married to it's going to rain these days and it's not going to rain these days and whatnot. Does a really good job of saying, hey, this is the trends, right? Always want to preface with that. So yeah, we're a little bit cooler heading into St. Patrick's Day. Still pretty pleasant. I'm not seeing any rain. You got some good plans outside, maybe a jacket, maybe. Really depends on who you are, right? Seeing signs of some rain midweek there for that, is that the 3rd week? We're starting to get into the 3rd week of March. That's crazy. Mid-60s there on Wednesday. Maybe a rumble of thunder with any rain that we see just because we are in the mid-60s. And then if you can believe it, I mean, the weather is showing it, but I still can't believe it. Spring is on the horizon. That is going to be on March 20th, and it feels pretty true to spring in the 60s, coming in with a little bit of rain as well. All right, I'll go ahead and take a look at our comments one last time to make sure that we are not missing anything. Kim saying, hoping you're liking Channel 19. I absolutely am, Kim. It's one thing to do the job that you love. It's another thing to do the job that you love in the place that you love. And I'm really happy to be here and home. Darla saying, good evening, Erin. Hope you were able to enjoy some of this beautiful day. The drive-in was beautiful. Let me tell you that. Thank you, Darla, for tuning in. Good news about this is, so my off days are Monday, Tuesday, so I will be soaking in the 70s by Tuesday. Sarah tuning in, hello, hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you're having a great weekend, Sarah. Hopefully everyone's been able to get outside and enjoy these temperatures, and if you haven't, you do have ample opportunity to do so within the next few days, or the next several days, right? I mean, it's just incredible what we're seeing. I mean, normal. We've seen stuff like this before, but it's almost like you're seeing the human side of me now. I'm just like, oh my gosh, the 70s? It's almost too good to be true. But I know some people agree, some people don't agree, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But should anything change, you guys will be the first to know. We've been watching that system for next weekend very carefully, and we will continue to watch it very, very carefully over the coming days. Give you that first alert should anything turn to the dicey side. But as of right now, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and have a fantastic week ahead.